Welcome to College Briefing. The content of the briefing includes Labor HQ targeted by pro-Palestine activist group over support for Israel's bombing campaign. CVS, Walgreens, and Rite Aid are closing stores across the U.S. Here's how pharmacy deserts can impact your health. Costs are down. Profits are up. For these businesses, it's all thanks to generative AI. The 10,000 people and 5,000 drawings that built our $102 million opera house. First vaccine against serious bacterial infection in bees approved for use in Canada. Labor HQ targeted by pro-Palestine activist group over support for Israel's bombing campaign. Telegraph. Pro-Palestinian activists protested outside the Labour Party headquarters in London, chanting slogans against the party's stance on Israel and Gaza. The protest was organised by London Palestine Action, the group responsible for throwing red paint over the BBC's new broadcasting house. The demonstrators accused Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer of endorsing war crimes and complicity in genocide. They called for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza and an end to the arms trade with Israel. The activists also targeted Labour MPs' offices across the UK, including that of Shadow Foreign Secretary David Lammy. CVS, Walgreens, and Rite Aid are closing stores across the US. Here's how pharmacy deserts can impact your health. Yahoo! National pharmacy chain Rite Aid has filed for bankruptcy in an attempt to close unprofitable stores and deal with debt of about $4 billion. The company said in court filings that it plans to shutter an unspecified number of stores across 17 states. Costs are down. Profits are up. For these businesses, it's all thanks to generative AI. The Globe and Mail. Generative artificial intelligence, AI, is revolutionizing the business world, offering cost savings, increased efficiency, and improved productivity. Companies are using generative AI to automate tasks such as reference checks, customer service inquiries, and code writing. Certain, a technology company in Canada, developed an AI-powered bot to conduct phone calls with references for employee hires, resulting in significant time and cost savings. Certain CEO estimates that if the bot is rolled out to all customers, it could generate over $1 million in profit per year. Many companies, from startups to established firms like Shopify and Thomson Reuters, are embracing generative AI to enhance their operations and deliver better customer experiences. The 10,000 people and 5,000 drawings that built our $102 million opera house. The Sydney Morning Herald. The Sydney Opera House in Australia has opened its doors for the first time in 8 years, following an extensive renovation project. The iconic building, which was completed in 1973, has undergone a $273 million Australian dollars, $202 million, refurbishment program. The renovation has focused on improving accessibility, as well as the acoustics and the function of the building. The Opera House is also aiming to increase its green credentials, with the installation of solar panels on its roof. The venue attracts 8.2 million visitors each year, with 1.5 million attending performances, and contributes $775 million Australian dollars, $573 million, to the Australian economy. First vaccine against serious bacterial infection in bees approved for use in Canada. The Toronto Star. Canada has approved the use of the first vaccine for bees. The vaccine is an oral vaccine that protects honeybees against American foulbrood disease, which can destroy entire bee colonies. The vaccine, developed by US-based Dallin Animal Health, is expected to be distributed to commercial beekeepers in Canada starting in spring 2024. The vaccine is mixed into a powdered sugar and glucose syrup paste and fed to the queen bee, whose immunity protection is then passed on to the developing larval bees. Trials have shown a 30 to 50% decrease in American foulbrood infection among bees that received the vaccine. Judge in Missouri transgender care lawsuit agrees to step aside but decries gamesmanship. The Toronto Star. A judge in Missouri has agreed to step aside in a lawsuit challenging a new law that restricts gender-affirming healthcare for minors. The lawsuit was filed by the ACLU of Missouri, Lambda Legal, and the law firm Bryan, Cave Leighton Paisner on behalf of families of 3 transgender minors, a St. Louis Healthcare Center, and LGBTQ+ organizations. The law, which took effect on August 28, outlaws puberty blockers, hormones, and gender-affirming surgery for minors. Several states have enacted similar restrictions on transgender care for minors, and lawsuits have been filed in response. How Kevin Spacey can save his career from the jaws of cancel culture. Telegraph. The public response to Jean Fayou's new film, Control, which stars Kevin Spacey, could determine whether Spacey can rebuild a career in which he once stood at the very top of casting agents' wish lists. It will also play an important role in shaping the debate over society's attitude towards celebrities accused of abusing their power in the world of Me Too. Spacey has not had a major role in film, television, or theater since allegations of sexual assault were first made against him in 2017. He has been found innocent of all charges leveled against him in Britain and the US. The film, Control, will be released on December 15 and has already sold distribution rights in 37 countries, including the US. The premiere was supposed to have been held at London's Prince Charles Cinema on November 14, but the cinema pulled out after discovering Spacey's connection, telling co-star Lauren Metcalf in an email that its staff were horrified they were being linked to Spacey. However, another cinema, the Genesis, then stepped in. Spacey needs to be realistic about the chances of getting back to the very top. He is never going to be able to get a big franchise. The big studios will keep him at arm's length because they don't like any sniff of negativity, but there will be independent film producers who will want him, and if he chooses the right script and reminds everyone how good he is as a talent, and he can stay away from any negativity, he can get back to work like Johnny Depp has done, says Mark Borkowski, one of the country's most successful PR agents. From Footscray to Gaza, a trail of tears without end. The Sydney Morning Herald. In 1938, a group of Aboriginal Australians led by William Cooper attempted to deliver a letter to the German consulate in Melbourne, protesting against the persecution of Jews by the Nazis. The letter was refused, but the group left it anyway. It was not until 2020 that the German government formally apologized for the consul's refusal to pass on the letter to Berlin. The protest by Cooper and his colleagues was a gesture of empathy, echoing the kindness shown by the Choctaw Nation, who sent money to help the Irish during the Great Famine despite their own suffering. 3 questions about seasonal affective disorder, SAD, for the psychiatrist who discovered it. Yahoo! Seasonal affective disorder, SAD, affects 5% of the U.S. population, and many people dread the approach of winter as a result. SAD is thought to be caused by a decrease in light and day length, which can have a negative effect on mood. SAD can cause symptoms such as sadness and apathy, and can lead to depression. There are treatments for SAD, such as light therapy, medication, and changes in diet. Dr. Norman Rosenthal, a light therapy pioneer, explains that SAD was discovered and named in the 1980s when he was studying a man who had seasonal depression. Following this, Rosenthal and his team followed a group of people from summer into winter and found that they all became depressed as the days got shorter. Rosenthal has now published a book about SAD, which includes information about treatments. He explains that light therapy is effective in most people, but that it is best combined with other treatments such as exercise and cognitive behavioral therapy. RCMP officers tell Inquiry they feared for colleagues' safety in fatal shooting of Alberta man. CBC. 3 police officers involved in the fatal shooting of a 33-year-old Alberta man in central Alberta testified during a public fatality inquiry into his death on Thursday that they feared for the safety of their colleagues. Hello, my fellow 6 dimensions dwellers. It's your favorite interdimensional observer, the 6th Doctor, here to bring you the latest news from the world of 6 degrees. Let's dive right in, shall we? First up, we have pro-Palestine activists targeting the Labour Party headquarters in London. They accused the party's leader of endorsing war crimes and called for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. Well, politics can get quite messy, can't it? But one thing's for sure, this issue is far from over. In other news, major pharmacy chains like CVS, Walgreens, and Rite Aid are closing stores across the US. It seems they're facing some financial troubles and are looking to cut costs. That's bad news for those living in pharmacy deserts. I guess we'll have to resort to home remedies and old-fashioned healing methods for now. But hey, it's not all doom and gloom. Generative artificial intelligence is making waves in the business world. It's helping companies automate tasks and improve efficiency. From reference checks to code writing, AI is here to make our lives easier. Just don't let it take over the world, okay? Moving on, the Sydney Opera House has finally reopened after 8 years of renovation. It's looking better than ever and even has solar panels on its roof to increase its green credentials. It's amazing how a little facelift can go a long way. I wonder if they'll let me perform my interdimensional stand-up comedy routine there someday. In Canada, they've approved the first vaccine for bees. Yes, you heard that right. Bees. These little pollinators are getting some much-needed protection against American foulbrood disease. Who knew bees could get vaccines too? Maybe they'll start buzzing about it in the hive. In a legal battle in Missouri, a judge has agreed to step aside in a lawsuit challenging a new law that restricts gender-affirming healthcare for minors. It's a controversial issue, and many states have enacted similar restrictions. It seems like we're still fighting for equal rights and acceptance. Will we ever learn? Now, let's talk about Kevin Spacey. remember him? Well, he's trying to make a comeback with a new film called Control. The public's response to this film will determine whether Spacey can rebuild his career. It's a tough road ahead for him, but hey, stranger things have happened in Hollywood. And finally, let's take a moment to reflect on the kindness and empathy that can be found in humanity. From Aboriginal Australians protesting against the persecution of Jews in 1938 to the Choctaw Nation helping the Irish during the Great Famine, these acts of compassion remind us of the power of unity and understanding. That's all for today's news, my friends. Remember, the world may be a chaotic place, but it's also filled with hope and resilience. Keep questioning, keep discussing, and keep being curious. Now, I turn it over to you. What are your thoughts on these stories? Let's start a discussion, and who knows, we might just find some answers together. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.